One. Hi, folks, and welcome to another edition for Apps for Success. As always, I am your host, John Bowman, and in each edition of Apps for Success, we take a look at a different application and how you can use it in your customer success efforts. In this episode, we're going to be taking a look at an app called Google Tables. Now, I'm going to probably guarantee most of you have never heard of Google Tables. It's a relatively new thing from Google. It came out of their incubator, their internal incubator. I think it's called Area 21, and it was only released back in September. But what Google Tables is, it's kind of like a spreadsheet and a database had a baby, and then you gave that baby superpowers, and it could do all sorts of cool automations for you to try and automate your work. I really like Google Tables. It can really expand your capabilities and really help you to increase capacity if you're trying to automate those small and easy tasks. I'll show you a little bit of those features inside the review this week, but before we do, I have a joke for you. You ready? Okay. What do you call it when a bicycle trail does not have any empathy? Give up. It's a cycle path. On to the application, folks. Well, folks, here we are inside of the application. This is Google Tables, and the main navigation bar is going to be here on the left-hand side, like with most Google products. That's what's kind of cool, too, is it brings in most of the Google design and UX. It's pretty standard across everything you use. For example, this great big new button in the top left, it's the same new button that you use whenever you're creating an email inside of Gmail. That being said, let's give you a quick tour. The left-hand side here is home, right? Workspaces are the places where you do your work. These workspaces will contain your tables, and the tables are generally can be made up of templates or different things that you're having, that you're working on, right? So what we're going to do here, though, is I'm going to show you how to do a quick task manager, just so that you can have it inside, and potentially, this is going to be very, very simple, but you can increase complexity depending on the amount of people who you work with, as well as, the different automations and things that you can do with it. And I'll show you how those work as well. So what we're going to do is we're just going to create a blank workspace, creating that blank workspace here. And you'll notice this kind of looks like an Excel spreadsheet inside of the copy of this episode of Ops for Success. We talked about the idea that the Google Tables are kind of like a spreadsheet and a database. If they had a baby and that baby had superpowers, that's what this Google Tables would be. So we're just going to say here, Apps for Success is going to be the name of it. Great. And you can see the spreadsheet parts are the columns, and then we've got rows. And we might take the first text column here, and we're going to edit it. We're going to say, this is our to-do column, right? So whenever you got to do stuff, you got to have a list of things that need to be done. Then the next column here, we're going to edit this guy, and we're going to make it a status column. There we are. And it's already a drop down here, which is cool. So you can see it's got 3 different options that we'll be able to select when we drop it down. In this case, we might want to create some statuses, things like pending, or, after pending, we might want to say something like in progress, right? Or, you might need something that needs to be reviewed, so you can add review in there. Or you might have something that's, working right now. We can add whatever it is you want. And that's what's kind of cool about all this, is it's very, very customizable to how you work. You'll notice there's a column here that's handy dandy, and it updates of when something was last updated. And it does that automatically. I love it. But what we're going to do instead is we're going to insert a column left here. And this new column that we're going to create, it's going to be an assignee column. With that assignee column, we're going to make it a particular person, right? Blammo. So now we've got the assignee column here. This should show you a little bit more what this looks like. If you click the add column option, these are the different superpowers or types of things that you can create. So you can have it be a particular date, and that date might be, the due date that we want to have, right? Or like we might want to say, this is a particular tag, and the tags are kind of things that you can track across your different tasks. And in this case, each row would be a different task. You can even do locations, things like Google Maps, or see who the last creator or updater was, or times that they were updated. a nice little handy dandy one as well, just a nice checkbox. You can add in a checkbox here. And for this one, we can just say, true/false or whatever it is that we want to say. Add that in there. We can even create a default state of not checked. So that's the general process of creating your columns and selecting what each column means. And inside here, we might make this a task manager for me whenever I create one of these videos. And in that case, it might be something like research. And after research, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write the copy. And after I write the copy, I'm going to film the computer part, right? And after I film the computer part, then I'm going to want to film the person part. And then after I film the person part, I'm going to want to combine in After Effects, right? Combine and edit and add effects. Well, we'll just say combine and edit. Then after that, I'm going to add in, the sound effects, sound and image effects, right? So very easy to do, right? You can just put in the things that need to be done. You can select from the drop down. This is pending, meaning we've yet to do it. And if we wanted to, we could edit this column and we can make default the general idea of pending, right? So we can save that. And when we do, if we refresh the screen, hopefully that updates there. Well, it didn't update. That's interesting. Well, anyways, if we add a new column, let's see if that's what we're going to make it. Yeah, okay. So they had to be adding new columns in order to, if we added a new row, in order for the automation to fire there for defaults. But the general idea here, right? So some things are going to be pending. For right now, I've already researched this. So maybe I'm in review, or maybe I want to add another option, which is complete. There we are. Notice, folks, you can always change what these colors are as well. So if you click edit options, maybe you don't like this one to be orange, you might like it to be yellow. Or when something's complete, maybe I want it to be red. I can save that. You can see it reacts, right? So again, it's just creating different statuses or different workflows. There can be particular workflows we're taking things through. Some things need to be reviewed or needs to be actually done. I'll say pending there. There we go. So that's great, right? You can take your tasks, you can say who's doing what, and imagine you're working with your teammates, because you can come here and you can assign people, right? So we can assign people. I just hit the @ symbol and it's going to select my name, at John B, right? So my customer success apps, I can do that. That's not a problem. If I wanted to, I can invite other people as well. So let's say, this is going to have people inside my organization, but let's just use a Gmail account. Voila, we can invite people just like that. See how that worked? You can assign folks to it. You can assign multiple people or assign people out as well, right? See that? So the general idea is you can have assignments for folks. You can see when they were last updated. You can give them due dates where they need to get things done. Like here, we can say this one needs to be done by this date. And then we'll say perhaps this one needs to be done by that date. And we'll check off a couple checkboxes just for fun. So that's a quick and simple task manager that you can put inside of your Google table. And you may be thinking, well, John, this is great. I could probably get this functionality out of a ton of other tools. You're right, you can. However, something that's really cool about Google Tables is that it looks at your tasks or your to-dos as data. It's like part of a database. And you can visualize or change the way you work just by using a drop-down. So what we can do here is, this is currently the grid layout, right? It's kind of like a table, but maybe I might want to see them in a list layout. So I can select that. I can see these are my list layouts, right? This is the list layout, seeing each one that needs to be done. I can see more information that I need to add. I can add a comment thread as well. I might need to have notes or whatever it is that I want to put in here. That's not a problem. I can do that. See, the notes were added. I can always add mention of the people to those notes as well, just like standard Google things. Pretty cool. Or you can save views, right? So if you want to, I can say, this should be in the Kanban layout. And this is the same data, folks, right? Just remember that this is the same exact data as we were seeing here inside the grid layout, but instead it's now in the board layout or the Kanban view layout. And it's the same data, but I can change the status just by clicking and dragging it like that, right? It allows you to visualize your work in different ways. And that's a wonderful thing because it meets you where you are so that you can see your work the way you want to see it, thus enabling you to get more work done and to be more comfortable with the work you're doing. Notice here, we were talking about them briefly, it's called a saved view, right? So what you can do is you can save the view of your tasks. Again, the tasks are just data, and we're changing those views by using these drop downs, either grid, queue, Kanban, or map. But this is generally based upon location, and I believe you need to upgrade in order to get that, so we're not going to do it. But you can come here and you can save it, and you can save it so that other people see it as default whenever they come back to this particular table in this particular workspace. Okay, that's pretty darn cool in my opinion. All this stuff that we're seeing here would not have been possible a little while ago, but we're going to add in another column here. And this column that we're going to add, let's say it's going to be a text column, and the text column is just going to be notes. We can save that. So great, maybe you might want to add notes for the different tasks that are ongoing, but what you might want to do with this data is you might want to start doing some automations. Remember, you can see things the way you want to by the view option, but you also might want to take a look at the different automations that are available. This area here called bots is a great way for you to automate actions. So you may notice you can send emails, you can schedule weekly tasks, you can ping other apps with webhooks, right? That's all possible in here. So this new bot name might be something like send email based upon status. We can hit that, and we're going to create a trigger. And these are the general triggers that you can do. It can be time-based, row added, row removed, or column value changed. And you'll notice the column values that we have here correspond to the column values that we have up here at the top, right? So if I select the status option, and if a row matches the following conditions, so we're going to say if the status one moves to working, there we are, then we're going to make an action. And these are the out-of-the-box actions that you can do. You can send an email, update another row, add a row, delete rows. These all seem very easy, but they can get very complex rather quickly. The thing I like to show you is just quickly send an email. We can send an email for a particular address. We can have a subject that gets sent like, hey, check this out. Body of the email might say, task is working. Oh no, there we are. Task is working, right? So we're sending that, it's gonna be great. Oh no, let's fix that, perfect. And then we're gonna say email address is to the assignee column. So anybody who's in the assignee column, they're gonna get this email whenever the task status switches to working. See how I just created that? Great, that is on. And let's take one of these that's pending, and what we're gonna do with it, we're gonna switch it to working. Cool, that just happened right now, right? That would have triggered our bot, so that if we come back here to my email inbox, you will see that I have not received it yet. That's okay. It might take a moment for it to hit or for the automation to go, so we'll make sure it comes back. But you get the general idea, folks, is that you can come here and you can add new bots to do things to help automate things that are ongoing, right? So another thing that you might want to do is create a bot, and that bot trigger might be when a new row is added, then you might want to take the assignee and you want to make the assignee match any particular person that we've added in, right? So we'll say like that. There we go. And for each matching row, obviously we can say that this is going to happen, right? Oh, my apologies. Let's remove that. There we go. Then we're going to update the row, and we're going to change the to set the column value. Save it. If we want to have more bots, we do need to upgrade, right? You're capped at 2 bots now in order to make that happen. In order to have more bots, you just need to start paying. And like I said inside the copy of this, it's only about $10 per month. So it's not anything that's too crazy. And that's actually pretty darn cost efficient as compared to some of the other options that are out on the market. We're just going to add a quick row here. As we can see, we added a quick row up here at the top, but notice it says the person's already assigned because we'd set up that automation that's running, right? Looks like I might have, I know what I did wrong. I was sending an email to my own personal email inbox, and instead I should have been sending that email to my customer success apps inbox. My apologies. So let's update this. And yeah, save it. There we are. Alrighty. So again, folks, remember you can build out these automations just to make it easier. Imagine what we're doing right now is anytime someone completes something or something hits a particular status that you need to notify someone, you can do that. It's all entirely possible using your Google table. Now, this is just scratching the surface of what's possible with Google Table. Something I love to show people just in project management in general is forms, right? If you think about it, every time you're doing work for somebody, it's much more sense to be clear about the requirements and the requests ahead of time. And that's easy to get if you have something like a request form that you want to have, right? Request form. And we can just call this form title, apps for success example. We could add a description if we want to, but you'll notice over here on the right-hand side, see what it looks like. It's already got the to-do. So what's the to-do that we want to put in? It's got the status examples that we have. It's got the due date, etc. So anytime we fill out this form, it's going to create another task that's inside of our table. There we are. We can save that, right? So if we want to take a look at that form, here's what it looks like. And I can say something like, make sure I fix the sound volume. Status on this is going to be pending. The due date is going to be 22nd. True false is no. Notes. This is so cool. We're going to submit it. There we go. Thank you for your submission. Now when we come back into our table, look what showed up. Make sure I fix the sound volume. It's in the pending status. It's assigned to the person that's based off that automation that we created. And we can see when it was added, what the due date was, and the notes that were added there as well. So again, consider the idea that your tasks are essentially just data and you have a database, right? And you can take that data, you can visualize it different ways. You can also save those views so people can work together and know exactly what's happening. You can also create automations where you assign people or you send emails and you let others know what's going on. An area over here called relationships, as you can add up new relationships, right? Now, I'm not going to go too in depth here because frankly, I'm not a database administrator. I'm not really great about that, but just know that you can come in and you can update the relationships between the things that you work on as well. So if we come in here, there we go. All right. So this is just a basic example of a task management platform that you can use inside of Google Tables. But what we're going to do here is we're just going to highlight some of the templates they have, right? So one thing is a bot sample. I wanted to show you this, right? Inside the bot sample, if we check one checkbox, now we can see that it checks all checkboxes and changes the status. See that? That's pretty cool. Another one here is something that's unavoidable, right? So in life, what is unavoidable? What's our answer? Well, we take this drop down. Let's say death, taxes, both. Let's say death. There we go. Correct. See that? It automatically showed up based upon the answer we had. Now, if we add another one, it automatically fills that out. And we say taxes. And when we do, correct. Now try adding another one. We add another row. Great. Now let's try both. There we are. Again, you're going to see it's going to pull them down. So you can make it so that if you add rows to your tables, that it's going to allow you to have drop downs that match the rows that were already there as well. And things like delegation, right? So again, if we reassign a task as not started, we're going to say in progress. Cool. Once something has been made in progress, if we go to the bot, you can see when the assignee has changed, it's going to send an email. Oh, my apologies, picked the wrong one. So we're going to pick assignee here, and we're going to say when status sent. Wonderful. Then the bot will have sent an email, and this is what I was trying to get fired earlier. There we go. Notification sent, task assigned. Notice it says you've been assigned work. Please thank them for keeping you productive. Here are the notes from the task, right? So the notes from the task are important because the area that's in the notes you can send to people automatically so they know what to see and what to do. And you can do that again. You can assign this and show you again anytime you assign something, it notifies people that they've been assigned. It's really great for delegation. Now that's a bot sample, right? If you just want to go to Feature Playground and take a look around, there's a lot that you can do, right? You can add attachments, you can add different labels to help you ensure that your tracking things that need to be tracked across the tasks that you have. You can change, even put in addresses, right? You can say these things need to be at this particular place, or if this is archived, I want to select here. This is extremely powerful for you to use, and it's already built into your G Suite account. It's all here, and it's worth it to just come in and test it around, because you can save and do things that you may not thought were possible. Well, folks, as always, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. If you have any questions or things that I can do, please just take a note inside of the comments below, and I promise we'll get back to you. Hope you're well. Stay safe. Thank you.